On the radio was the Tatnall came into the pits and he had fuel just all over him.
Boy, that's not a good thing. As we saw Donnie Schatz with the fuel leak a few weeks ago, erupt into flames, gets in the fire suit, not a good thing. He looked inside the car for a leak. Actually, it was a fuel line, whether the fitting broke or came loose. And again, that's not a good thing. You'll probably change the fire suit. You want to get that off, get a clean suit on.
Cars on the track already for dash number 2 to determine the outside 8 rows in the main event. Last year's winner on the pole is Donnie Schatz. Next to him is Kading. Then we've got Craig Kinzer and Aaron Berryhill, Steve Kinzer and Tim Schaefer, Delansky and Paulus rounding out this second dash. 5 laps to try to determine the outside 8 rows in order. Donnie Schatz immediately. Parker Stores number 15 moves out in front. Schatz, Kading, Craig Kinzer, the top 3. Here's Steve Kinzer and Berryhill, and it's the Kinzers going at it. Father-son knows the tail.
See what Dad can do with him going into turn 1 here.
The Quaker State number 11 has the advantage.
There wasn't much Craig could do there either way. Steve is fast. You could see him drive under him, stick to the bottom, and actually pull away from Craig down that back straightaway.
Schatz getting some pressure from behind. And that's, of course, Tim Kading, number 83. Kading, the winner last week at this time, his second career World of Outlaws victory. Of course, he got a couple of preliminary feature wins in California this year, and looks like one of the bright young stars of the game.
Boy, and what a contrast, too, that win last Friday night on a little bull ring track in Hopstad, Indiana. Now they're on a high-speed half-mile here in Oklahoma City.
Paulus trying to catch up as Craig Kinzer off the pace now. And it looks like he might be out of the race as we come down the front stretch. Schatz and Kading, white flag. One more lap for these two battling it out. Who's going to make the front row? Craig Kinzer, the flat tire. We're under caution. The caution for Craig Kinzer on the final lap means we've got a green-white checkers situation now as we restart. He did not make it back. Yeah,
even if they could have plugged the tire, he was going to start on the tail. This with only a lap or 2 left. Realistically, he was going to finish in the back anyway, so they elected not to even try to fix it and come back out.
Delansky, number 7 VMAC, and Tim Schaefer in the Casey General Stores battling it out there. White flag is out once again for Donnie Schatz. Schatz winning the main event here last year.
Boy, and he really pulled away. He saw Kading kind of pressuring him before this restart, and Schatz able to pull away from the rest of the field right now.
Checkered flag for Donnie Schatz. Tim Kading in second place. Steve Kinzer in third. Kinzer won this race back in 2002. After Schatz, Kading, and Kinzer, Berryhill, Schaefer, Delansky, Paulus, and Craig Kinzer.
You know, wind's a pretty big factor tonight. You come out of one corner and it's pushing you down, the other corner is trying to lift you up. So it's kind of a unique situation here tonight, and just got to make the right tire choice.
It's the last chance for those who haven't qualified for the main event. The B-Main is coming up after these words.
Superlift Off-Road Adventures and the Outdoor Channel have teamed up for the
B-Main time. Last chance qualifier for 10 cars. It'll be 12 laps of action. Only the top 4 making the final 4 positions in tonight's main event. Wayne Johnson on the pole with Murphy next to him in the front row. McMahon and Garner in row 2. Row 3, Rylett and Henderson. Row 4, Branch, Coleman, Sowald. Woodruff is a scratch out of row 5, so move Walden up into the inside portion of row 5 with J.D. Johnson alongside him. So we're set to go. The pressure's on for these guys, Brad.
Boy, it really is. I mean, you never want to find yourself in the B-Main. It is. Your heart rate is really up there right now. You know you got to race your way into this main event.
Wayne Johnson taking the lead. He's in the 14 AJ car. The battle for 6th. Trying to move up. It's Henderson in the D1.
Ranchcombe right there in the 94. Looked like that front end's kind of picking up on him a little bit. The car dancing around on him a little.
And McMahon in a battle for 3rd. Secures 3rd place. Wayne Johnson continues to lead. Caution is out. We've got a car in the wall. Number 98 is J.D. Johnson. J.D. is just fine, but the car is not. A broken bird cage and rear tire out of the race. 2 laps completed, 10 to go. Wayne Johnson leads the single file parade with Murphy right behind him. McMahon, Rylett, and Garner and Branscombe in that order. Under green once again. Wayne Johnson out in front. That's 14 AJ on that car. And look at number 35, Murphy.
Boy, he got real sideways, though. He had a really strong run, got into 3 really hot and heavy, missed the bottom a little bit, and about spun that car out.
Brad, the wind has really picked up here, and the wind's been a problem in the past as we look at the battle for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, they've actually canceled races here. As you see one car off the pace there because of the wind. And it does get very windy in these high-speed racetracks with a big wing on top. It can really, you got your hands full as a driver.
Here's our leader. And Murphy now has a little bit more space to make up on Johnson.
What'll happen in the wind, if you're getting a headwind, say they go into turn 3 there, it wants to force the car toward the infield. But then when you go down into turn 1, it wants to blow you up into the guardrail. So you always have to, as a driver, be aware of that and which way the wind's blowing and how your car's going to react as you enter the corner.
Johnson, Murphy, McMahon, the top 3 with Ryland in 4th. Those are the transfer positions, the final 4 for the main event.
The 35 car there with a new wing on, unpainted wing, Murphy in 2nd. You know, you have to wonder if they put a different wing on with less downforce or maybe stronger struts or something, you know, worried about the wind conditions.
McMahon, of course, having trouble in earlier qualifying rounds. There he is, number 11. 8 laps down, 4 to go for Johnson.
Yeah, we talked about Paul McMahon earlier. We talked about him being back on Goodyear tires this weekend. So even if the tires are as good as or equal to the Hoosiers, it's going to take them a little bit to get used to it. Oh, there's a car there.
Look at the wing.
Looks like the back struts have come loose, and that's let the wing tip up. Now he can see a little bit through right there. You can see about a 4-inch space there that he's still able to see through.
Branchco.
Barely, but he can still see.
Boy, that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Probably more for the guys behind him than it is for him, because they're probably wondering if he can see. See how track widening out right there?
Branchcombe slowing, but is still under power. As we take a look at our leader, Johnson.
Trying to run the bottom down there, 3 and 4. Not much moisture down there anymore. Track's getting pretty dry all the way across.
2 laps to go. McMahon in good position to qualify. Could be interesting seeing a guy like McMahon come up through the ranks in the main event. White flag lap. White flag lap for Johnson. No contest for the win for the checkered flag for Johnson. Murphy behind him. Here comes McMahon. Ryland. Final 2 transfer spots.
Wayne Johnson with a, what we call that insurance lap. He's still on the throttle, making sure that he did see that checkered flag.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since any, sprint cars ran on this track, so it's kind of tearing up a little bit, but it's starting to take a little rubber, so tire choice is going to be a big deal.
Aaron Crocker, Craig Delansky, Craig Kinzer, Steve Kinzer, the points leader, all getting ready now for the main event, which will be coming up next. The World of Outlaws on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by Optima Batteries and by Jack